Two strangers finally find each other on the one night a year they're legally allowed to have sex, and they choose not to. That's the ending of One Night Only, the new rom-com everyone's memeing about, and it's either the most romantic finale of the year or proof the movie doesn't believe its own premise. Full spoilers from here, you've been warned. Welcome back to Show Slab. Will Gluck, the guy behind Easy A and Anyone But You, just made The Purge, but in the next 7 minutes, the whole night recapped fast. The rules of the mandate actually explained, including the ones Gluck only revealed in interviews, and why that lighthouse ending means more than it looks. First, the world, because the movie deliberately buries the lore in background signs and news broadcasts, and half the internet is asking the same questions. 3 years ago, the US government passed the chastity mandate. Premarital sex is illegal nationwide, except for one 12-hour window a year, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., marketed beautifully as the one night. How's it enforced? A company called Rexton Labs implants a biosensor into every adult's wrist, disguised as a tattoo. Red if you're unmarried, green if you're married. On the one night, every red tattoo flips green. The sensor tracks dopamine, serotonin, and testosterone, and if your spike happens next to someone else's spike outside the window, it snitches to the police via 5G. There are also hotlines encouraging citizens to report their neighbors. Cozy. 3 rules the movie only hints at. Confirmed by Gluck in interviews. 1. Protection is mandatory on the one night, specifically condoms, or you can be arrested. That's the engine of the whole second act. 2. You can't game the system by marrying and divorcing. Gluck says you have to stay married a year and a day before divorce. 3. Parole violators lose one-night privileges entirely. Their tattoo stays red. Remember that one. And no, the movie never says what the actual punishment for illegal sex is. Gluck himself just guesses fines, then probably jail. The film doesn't want you to think about it too hard. Now the night itself. Owen runs a pizza shop, Claremont's. His plan for the one night, his girlfriend Malika. Her plan, someone else in their building. Dumped at a sushi restaurant, hours before the window opens, Ali sings. She's the anonymous voice on your commercials. Her wingwoman Jacinta abandons her for an actual prince within the hour, so Ali's hunting solo. The meet cute. Owen and Ali collide on the street, sparks fly, and Owen throws up his sushi. Iconic. They split. He charms Sky the bartender. Ali finds a guy who can play All Out of Love on piano. Then, the condom quest. Protection is legally required, the city is sold out, and the last condom in New York is a display item priced at $200. Owen and Ali both converge on it, rip the display out of the store with a motorcycle, flip a coin for it, drop it down a drain, fish it back out, and Owen just gives it to her. Remember that, hours left on the clock, and he hands away his entire night. From there, the night keeps swinging. Owen gets tied to a tree and robbed by a dating app match. Ali's piano guy gets arrested mid-hookup. He's the parole violator with the permanently red tattoo. They reunite at the police station, follow strangers to an underground party, and split again. Owen leaves with Vivian. Ali leaves with Ezra Stone, a musician she actually admires. Both implode. Ezra faceplants off a piano mid-naked serenade, and Owen brings Vivian back to his mom's apartment, where Molly Ringwald and LeVar Burton are having their own one night. Scarred. Everyone's scarred. So where do 2 losers of the one night end up? Claremont's. 1 cheese pizza, 2 people talking, and it's the easiest conversation either of them has had in years, which is exactly when Malika calls, she wants him back. And Owen goes. Now the ending. Owen goes back to Malika and realizes within minutes it's a mistake. She's the habit, not the person. So he runs to Ali's building, and she's not there. He ends up shouting everything he's learned about her over one night to her street, and the kid across the hall relays the message. Ali hears one detail and knows exactly where he'll be, because somewhere in that long night, she mentioned she loves lighthouses. She finds him at the lighthouse, 2 coffees ready. They admit it, they kiss, and the clock matters here. The exemption period is still open. They climb to the top of the lighthouse with time left on their green tattoos and decide to wait. a full year. That's the entire thesis of the movie in one beat. Everyone else spent the night treating sex as a deadline. Owen and Allie realize the only thing the mandate can't ration is knowing someone, so they spend the government's one sanctioned night doing the actually forbidden thing, taking their time. In a world that made sex scarce, the movie makes intimacy the scarce resource. The condom handoff was the setup. The lighthouse is the payoff. He listens. She gets to be exactly herself. That's the whole romance. And then Gluck undercuts the sincerity with one last gag. They walk outside, kiss, and discover they've wandered into a commercial shoot. A psoriasis ad, soundtracked by Allie's own cover of Brave. The anonymous commercial singer ends the movie inside a commercial, on camera, finally seen, kissing on the director's command and dancing anyway. That's her arc, closing in the dumbest, sweetest way possible. Cut to 1 year later, still together, next exemption period starting, and they finally head to the bedroom. Credits. So, the lighthouse ending, genuinely romantic, or did the mandate win? And the real question, would you survive the one night or end up tied to a tree in a park? Comments below. Subscribe to Show Slab for endings explained within a day of release, and if this saved you a rewatch, you know what to do. See you in the next one.